Once more the film begins with a man whose name is Vic. He is riding his bicycle home after a ride through the wood. Says he moves toward the entryway. He removes his jeans. When he looks into his better half, Melinda, is gazing at him. In the following scene, we discover that they have a youthful girl. She is chiming into her main tune, while her mom annoyingly hollers at her. The man goes into the room, where his better half requests that he pick a dress for her. Later on, his better half requests that he snatch her dark shoes for her, which he does joyfully. Melinda lets Vic know that she cherishes him, particularly. Not long after, several passes on their little girl with the sitter to get the party. Melinda and Vic visit with their companions. Melinda runs into Joel, a close buddy, and starts conversing with him and sees her activities yet stays quiet. Melinda brings his companion into a confidential space and starts kissing him immediately. Vic knows about what's going on, yet the best anyone can hope for at this point is to look as she plays out these activities. Despite the fact that they take a gander at one another, Melinda keeps on partaking in her dreams. Vic's companion Mary then moves toward him and offers her stresses over Joel and Melinda's relationship. Vic anyway consoles her that he doesn't care what is going on, that he actually cherishes Melinda for whose is the point at which this isn't enough. Melinda starts to move on top of a piano to stand out. She then, at that point, begins playing the piano, satisfying everybody. Vic grins at her in spite of her odd way of behaving, as though nothing simply happens. Soon after, Joel comes to Vic and offers his thanks for allowing him to invest energy with Melinda. Vic advises him to review a man called Martin McRae, who as of late got absent, and he was Melinda's past sweetheart. Vic makes the ramifications that he is privileged position who made him vanish. Joel believes it's a joke, yet Vic guarantees him that it will end up being evident in the event that he continues to do it. Joel passes on the party without expressing farewell to Melinda in light of the fact that he is apprehensive. Melinda doesn't see the value in his activities towards her companion. She inquired as to whether he expressed anything to Joel. Vic denies compromising or expressing anything to Joel, and the couple conservation home. Melinda removes her top and starts to meander the house stripped, while the sitter is as yet present. Vic requests that Melinda get inside her room. Not long after, Vic comes up to Melinda and helps her in removing her garments. Here it is clarified that they really have common comprehension that permits Melinda to cherish and embrace whoever she prefers. Consequently, she can't separate from Vi and needs to remain with him on the grounds that Vic is stressed over his family. A couple of days after the fact, Vic gets along with his companions, where he discovers that everybody knows about the danger he made to Joel by making wisecrack about Martin McRae. They likewise made sense of that Melinda is a wiped out lady, since she does this in front of Vic. Back at home, Melinda becomes more acquainted with about this too and advises Vic to apologize to Joel. Then she welcomes him to supper. Joel thumps on the entryway on Friday and is welcomed by Vic. He asks anxiously, assuming Melinda is at home, to which Vic again jokes that she isn't. Vic lets him know that they will talk and partake in some fish later. At the table, Vic makes Joel a barbecued cheddar sandwich, while Melinda starts eating it in a manner that appears to plan to bother his better half. She sends Vic to take her little girl to bed and recount her sleep time stories. Later, Vic experiences Melinda and Joel embracing each other. One day, Vic and Melinda are having a discussion with essayist Ware Wilson and his better half Kelly at a party where calls him executioner and kids about Martin McRae. Later, seeing Trixie and Melinda moving, Vic requests that Kelly dance, and after she concurs they begin moving. This makes Melinda desirous, and she keeps watching Vic dance. Coming back, Melinda inquires as to whether he finds Kelly more appealing than her, and to embrace her Vic concedes. Then she attempts to substantiate herself better than Kelly by kissing his bull. Then, subsequent to arriving at home, Vic embraces her. Following day, Vic and Melinda are watching their girl play. His bank calls him with data. In regards to Melinda's financial balance, he discovers that she sent a piano player a check for $1,000. Vic then, at that point, begins investigating this individual's experience more. Vic finds Charlie and visits him face to face. In the wake of doing some exploration out of the blue, Melinda additionally shows up at the eatery grinning and chatting with Charlie. One night, Melinda doesn't return country, goes through the night with Charlie. When she gets back the following morning, Vic invites Melinda and asks where she was. She is looking alcoholic. He moves toward Melinda and implores her to quit seeing Charlie for their little girl, Trixie. Melinda declines and tells Vic that Trixie was his choice, not hers. She additionally enlightens Vic concerning her night with Charlie and how he embraced her 1 week from now. They hit up a party at their companion's home. Shockingly, Charlie has likewise been welcomed to the party, and Melinda goes to welcome him. She carries Charlie to meet Vic some other time when everybody is in the pool. Andy is watching Melinda draw nearer to Charlie. Vic gets envious seeing Melinda. Unexpectedly, it starts to rain and everybody runs inside the house. They begin to partake in the party. Charlie is no place to be seen, so Melinda attempts to mind him. She sees him dead inside the pool and begins to shout. Seeing this, everybody runs outside and attempts to safeguard him from the pool and attempt to resuscitate him, yet sadly nothing figures out as the police appear later and promptly start addressing everybody there. Melinda blames Vic for suffocating. Gavrilovic denies it, so an official brings him into a space for addressing. Happy with Vic's nitty-gritty explanation that Charlie was smashed and sticking to the pool, the officials leave. Vic later inquires as to whether she is terrified of him. She says she isn't apprehensive on the grounds that he ended Charlie's life in view of her. Later on, when Vic is riding his bike, he envisions Melinda and another person together and furthermore sees the blazes and him ending his life the following day. While Vic is getting back on his trailblazing bicycle, he understands that Acer is following him one day while Vic is at Trixie's school. Herons into Kelly, who lets him know that Ware actually thinks he killed Charlie and is causing odd speculations with Melinda. Later, they to stretch out a supper greeting to Ware and Kelly. Not long after, Vic takes Ware to his storm cellar and requests that Ware quit. Let individuals know that he killed Charlie. Ware, who actually accepts Vic killed Charlie, requests that he take a falsehood locator test and carry it a couple of days. Vic should be visible strolling nonchalantly in the market where he sees the very vehicle that was following him. He then goes to glance around and sees Melinda talking with an irregular individual. He interferes with her discussion and the outsider proceeds to recognize himself as David, a specialist. Vic understands that Melinda and Ware have recruited David as a confidential examiner to keep an eye. Ogamic appears at Ware's home soon after and claims that Ware employed a confidential examiner to keep an eye on him. Returning one day, Vic sees Melinda partaking in her time investigating the city with another man. The man is Melinda's sweetheart from school named Tony. The following day, Melinda welcomes Tony to her home for supper and lets Vic know that Tony is the principal American kid she embraced. Vic ends up being disturbed after hearing this. Wash keeps a stoic expression and acts cordial with Tonic. Experiences them going higher up in his room. He sees that she is doing her typical things, and they get each other's attention. Following a couple of days, Vic forces Tony to sit in his Jeep and illuminates him that Melinda needs to meet him. He takes him to an area that is exceptionally remote from the city. He continues to ask him inquiries about Melinda and his dating history. Vic stops the vehicle in the wake of going far into the forest and tosses a stone at Tony, striking him in the brow. Before Tony can say anything, Vic hits him again with another enormous stone, making him tumble from the bluff. Tony at last deistic, then hauls Tony's dead body into the stream and sinks it. Binds a few stones to his body, yet not prior to taking out his wallet. The next day, Melinda recommends to Vic that they go on a cookout with Trixie at their climbing area. Andic acknowledges the area of the picnic's a similar one where Vic got freed. Octonolated, he coincidentally sees that the body should be visible drifting on top of the waterway. Melinda illuminates Vic that she left her scarf at the excursion area while getting back, to which Vic answers that he will get it back first thing around evening time. He becomes more acquainted with that she is conversing with another man called Ware that evening. She lets him know she cherishes him and requests that he rest in her room. He gets back to similar area the next day to address his misstep, while Melinda can find Tony Swallet inside Vic's working environment. Vic is attempting to push Tony's body down into the water. Where out of nowhere Ware shows up. Ware asks what he's doing in the stream. Vic attempts to keep away from the discussion and rationalize, yet Ware sees Tony's arm drifting. Ware quickly gets into his vehicle and lets Vic know that he will imprison. Vic follows Ware on his off-road bicycle, yet neglects to find him. Kitchen pursues a faster route and falls before Ware's vehicle, making him take a sharp transform and collide with the waterway, killing him in a split second. Vic returns home in the last Seen there, Melinda is hanging tight for him sitting on the flight of stairs, like toward the start of the film. She gazes at him for some time, lastly uncovers that she found Tony's wallet. The film closes with Melinda copying Tony's wallet, demonstrating that she is remaining with Vic and Trixie. So this was the narrative of 2022 film Deepwater.